country. That's $38 billion to make up for the deficit of our budget for next year. Another $17 billion that were verified by the World Bank and needed to rebuild the critical infrastructure. We need also targeted credits in the amount of $2 billion to rebuild the electric energy infrastructure after the destruction and to expand our export to Europe. The scope of this year's support should be not less than $5 billion.
You serious?
So I obviously can't speak for everyone who's going to click on and watch this video, but I know for me personally, I don't want to see one more American dollar sent out of the United States taxpayers' coffers to another country until, and you can pick whatever argument you want for this of where the money should go, whether it's to homelessness, whether it's to get universal health care, whether it's to combat inflation, to bring more enforcement to the SEC, hire attorneys to fix the market, whatever the case may be. I don't want to hear our politicians complain about being underfunded anymore while they continue to send money out to Eastern Europe, to a corrupt country, for a proxy war. So in case you don't know, that was the Ukrainian president Volodymyr Zelensky with his Christmas wish list, I guess, to the world. You know, the media keeps saying the Russians are back on their heels right now, they're retreating, they're losing all this ground, when in reality, since the beginning of the war, whatever, 10 months ago, they've basically taken over the Donbass region and gotten to the objectives that they've wanted to, and still we're like locked in this stalemate with Putin, where we continue funneling money out of the country, and I want to see that come to an end. But tonight I really want to focus on YouTube and the mainstream media and this fear point that they're pushing. I mean, look at me, Kevin's face in this picture. An urgent message to all investors. Do you want to be investing with a guy like this? He looks horrified right now in every picture. How can you possibly do anything when you're watching this guy's videos? I don't get it. But I want to talk about that and how, you know, it's not all the creators' faults, although most of it is. I don't want to focus too much about the creators themselves, more about the message that they have. When we talk about what's coming, are we talking 1920s Great Depression? Are we talking 87, 2008 financial crisis? What exactly are we going to be dealing with? And is there any possibility that we could see a bull run in the next 6 to 18 months, maybe 2 years? And the argument that I saw the other day that made for that bullish case, we'll dive into that subject matter and talk a little bit about that. You guys can let me know what your opinions are, of course. But before we do any of that and get way too far ahead of ourselves,
Cue the speeder.
This is the way.
Alright, so before we get into talking about this impending doom that's heading our way, this imminent crisis that's about to fall upon us, I just want to say thank you to everyone out there who, in the last couple uploads, if you viewed the video, if you've hit the like button, if you've commented, speaking of which, I'm going to answer as soon as this video is uploaded. All of the previous comments. Thank you guys for your continued support. I can't do any of this without you. Thank you for keeping me independent. I really appreciate all you guys. All right, let's talk about this fear point that's going on. Meet Kevin. I mean, just this morning, he's got a new video out called Elon Musk Could Be Taken Out, Now on a Hit List. Some scary stuff. But as I said in the intro, I do want to touch on someone who came up with a bullish argument for the next 6 to 18 months. Based on some of the collapse that we see going on around the world right now, financial collapse, whatever the case may be. But as far as the YouTubers go, I've never seen the mainstream media and YouTubers so, you know, in tune with each other as far as what is coming. Now, we don't have that much to compare it to when we're talking about social media and the YouTube videos, the tweets, all this kind of information that's being passed around and how it affects the psyche. This is really the first time we can compare so-called independent media, let's say, from mainstream media. And to see them all sending the same message is interesting. With nothing to compare it to, I don't know what to make for an assessment as far as the legitimacy of what they are saying. I do know one thing, as I said in the intro, there was someone who made a bullish case for the market, and I want to talk about that. But before we do, as far as the YouTubers go, this isn't a crack on anyone in particular, whether it's Jay Bravo or Graham Stephen, or this is really just about entertainment value versus using this in order to make trades or for investment advice or where to lock up your money. Just be extremely careful when it comes to all of this fear porn and some of the scams that are currently going on. And again, let me just say, the YouTube thing, I get that this is a business and there are people out there who are working hard to try to put info out, so this isn't a crack on anyone in particular. I'm on here doing YouTube, trying to bring a message across to you guys, and you guys are helping me out by viewing and doing all the things that you do, so I'm in the same business, you could say. You just got to make an assessment of everything that you hear and try to hear both sides of the story always. It will help you make better decisions, hopefully, going forward. So let's talk about that bullish case for the market, what exactly it was that I heard the other day, and what my thoughts on it are, and then we can discuss it. Watch.
What we see right now, what's happening is that globally, people still have the most confidence in the US. And if you have problems in the Eurozone, if you just look at, the euro is depreciating a lot. That means a lot of people are moving money from Europe to here, and similar in Japan, and similar to many other countries. It's you go to where you feel it's the safest. And the US here, we have positive interest rates. We are secure, food secure, energy secure. There's no war nearby. So if there's unrest in the world, the US is going to be the ultimate beneficiary. I think we see this now. I expect this to continue. So now, continue strengthening of the dollar, that sounds reasonable to me. But as we've been discussing, the US is not has its problems as well. Ultimately, we will not be able to keep printing and spending forever. But there's a sequence to this. First, the weaker countries, the periphery, they have their problems. They fall. Money comes to the US, concentrates, but eventually money is going to have to go somewhere else as well, because the US has its own problems. So what it could happen is that it can just go into things like real estate, or commodities, things like that, things that cannot be printed.
All right, so I thought that was an interesting point that he made. We're talking about this global collapse, and we've discussed it here on the channel many times about this greater agenda, the CBDC and the World Economic Forum. All these things right now, they're influencing geopolitics and macroeconomics across the world, across the globe. And I thought this was a really interesting point that he made, that we could see, if we do see this instability continue, if we see a really tough winter over in Europe, if Southeast Asia goes through a crisis as well over this winter, whether it's because of fuel. I mean, I just saw the other day that 25% of the gas stations in France are out of fuel. If we continue to see these types of news stories and this information coming in from around the world of destabilization in economies, you're definitely going to see some money flowing into the United States stock market because of the reasons that he just listed. And I'll put a link down in the description to this whole video. I thought it was really interesting. It's from Mr. Moss's channel, and this guy was known as the Fed Insider. He talked all in this video about why there was no market crash coming. And I just really found it interesting because, we were talking on live the other night saying that it was the weirdest thing about this gut feeling. I know Tony mentioned it too, about what's coming, and it just seems extremely weird, like this is a big, huge fake out. We could see incredible gains, and that they're just trying to scare everyone out of the market. I just don't know if that's true or not. I guess we're going to keep looking at the numbers and we assess as we go along. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think about that possible scenario playing out the way they describe. I would definitely recommend go check out the video. They talk about a lot of other subjects that I think are really important. I would definitely recommend the video. All right, before I let you go, real quick about AMC, a comment that I saw the other day. The article from CNBC talking about Q3 and the numbers and how we fell to a 52-week low. I just wanted to point out this comment that I saw, and I thought it was really interesting, and I'm going to put it up and post it here for you guys. I thought this was a pretty good argument, a very bullish case scenario for AMC, but again, positive news, so I'm going to put it out there because I still own the stock like most of you guys. We'll see how this ends up playing out, but I think eventually AMC is going to be just fine. I think it's held up very well in this market considering everything that's going on right now. And I still have faith in the CEO. All right, guys, let's clip it there for now. I will let you go. We will try to get on live tonight, hopefully around 9:30. We could talk about some of these different things that were brought up today. We can get into the Jon Stewart interview with Gary Gensler. I want to finally address that. As always, thank you for the likes, the views, the comments, my new subscribers, my OGs. I appreciate each and every one of you. We're here to break the wheel. This is Ape Nation. I'm the Massalorian, and I'm out.